dealing with fibroids in your 30s. Let's talk about it, okay? So when it comes to women in their 30s dealing with fibroids, and let me just make this clear, women of almost all ages deal with fibroids. I'm talking about literally from teenagers, they're teenagers, yes, they're dealing with fibroids, all the way up until women even in their 70s. Yes, this is a huge issue among women, but let's talk in this video about women in their 30s specifically, okay? So women in their 30s, right, when you're in your 30s, typically for women in their 30s, right, they tend to, these are women that tend to, if you want to have children, a lot of, literally studies show that more women are having babies in their 30s, nowadays, right? This tends to be the time you start thinking about marriage and children and fibroids. We all know that fibroids can really get in the way of fertility. Not saying that you cannot have a baby with fibroids, but you don't want to be pregnant with fibroids, right? Because there's a lot of risk factors, and also too, we're passing along toxins, underlying causes to the baby, and it doesn't provide a safe space for a baby to grow. It does not, right? Our baby's literally coming into the world in survival mode, right? But here's the thing, right? Fibroids in your 30s can be a particularly very difficult case. It's a difficult case whatever age, but in your 30s, you're still young, right? I'm not saying that 40s, 50s, 60s is not still young as well, but 30s is like, you still want to, travel and you have the money more than likely to travel now as opposed to your 20s, right? You have the money to travel now. You want to experience life. You want to, you want to experience romantic relationships. People get married a lot of times in their 30s, and you want to experience life, right? And also women are typically building their careers in their 30s, whether they're building their businesses or, working in corporate America. This tends to be the time that you're really killing it, right? Yes, you could kill it at any age, but 30s is a special time where it's a period where, okay, we're more comfortable in our careers, we're more comfortable with who we are, and we want to see the world, and we want to experience life, and we want to experience romantic relationships and marriages and all that stuff, right? Because fibroids lowers your quality of life, believe it or not, right? And I'm sure that if you're experiencing fibroids in your 30s, you know what I'm talking about. What tends to happen is that during your 20s, right, you were accumulating all of these toxins, because we know a lot of people live crazy lives in their 20s, right? You're accumulating all of these toxins, and then all of a sudden and maybe you were diagnosed with fibroids too in your 20s, and maybe they weren't that big, right? But then now you're in your 30s, and they're a lot bigger, and they're you're dealing with heavy bleeding, you're dealing with free urination, you're dealing with all of these issues and you're like, I'm too young to be dealing with this, right? You're dealing with all of this pain and on your cycle, and some people are dealing with the excessive bloating, where they're so bloated that literally they appear to be pregnant, right? Because the fibroids are just pressing on different organs. So if that's you, understand and know that fibroids, it really does lower your quality of life. Some women have been dealing with it for so many years, right? And I see this a lot, that it doesn't register that this is not the way you're supposed to be living, because they try to create their new normal around fibroids. Don't do that. It's lowering your quality of life. You're not able to experience life at its fullest when you have fibroids. Fibroids affects your sex life, it affects your relationships, it affects your travel life, because you have to plan your life around your period. It affects so much. It affects your mental health, right? It just affects your well-being and just wanting to live life comfortably as a woman, right? So it's important. Even there's women that can't wear, like there's clothes that they can't wear because of either the excessive bleeding or because of the bloated belly, the excessive bloating, right? There's clothes, so they have to literally plan their lives around their fibroids. They become a slave to their fibroids, okay? So if that's you, understand and know that fibroids, like I said, it cannot get in the way of so many important things, such as, like I said, you having the energy and the capacity to build whatever your career or just whatever you have going on, and also have the energy and capacity to be there for your children like you want to, okay, as well. And it can even get in the way of your fertility depending on the location, right? So you want to use this time, okay, and take it seriously and go all in on your womb healing journey, right? You don't want to wait till your 40s when something called perimenopause smacks you in the face. And like I always say, perimenopause is only occurs in unhealthy women. It only occurs with women who have an accumulation of toxic overload, who have hormonal imbalances, right? It does not occur in healthy women, okay? So if you have fibroids, that means that you're not healthy. We're dealing with, again, deeper imbalances in the body, meaning that when it comes to perimenopause, that's going to slap you in the face, and for women that are unhealthy, that's a 10-15 year period, right? And then menopause will also slap you in the face. So you're going to, and then your fibroids will just continue to grow. You're going to deal with years of health issues. Fibroids is just a symptom, right? It's just a precursor to more health issues down the line. So if you don't want to live like this, you got to do the work to get to the root cause of the problem. I'm not talking about surgery, because surgery, guess what? The root causes are still there. I'm talking about doing the real work, right? Because if you have fibroids, again, like I always say, your digestive system is backed up, your liver is overloaded, your kidneys are not filtering like they're supposed to, the elimination organs are overloaded with toxins, right? And meaning that they can't perform like they're supposed to. So liver function is jacked up. It's your body's in a compromised position. And what's that going to cause? It's going to make your body more susceptible to other health issues, serious health issues. This is why fibroids and women having fibroids and other health issues associated with that is so common, okay? So for women that actually want to do the work, okay, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, right? You have fibroids and you're wanting to do the work in order to get rid of your fibroids, in order to powerfully get rid of your fibroids, powerfully get to the root cause of the problem, restore your hormonal balance, and feel like you have your life back, be able to feel, to have the energy and the vitality to live the life of your dreams, right? Be sure to check out my 2-month intensive. I am taking clients now for my 2-month intensive that starts on June 1st. This is going to be inside of my Detoxify Your Womb program, my signature program where I've helped many women get rid of fibroids, endometriosis, adenomyosis, and so many other reproductive health issues, okay? So if that is you, if you're interested, be sure to click the link in my bio to check out our 2-month intensive. We literally start June 1st, okay? May 31st is the last day to sign up. And if you are ready to do the work, then we want you on our team, all right? So go ahead and check it out, and I'll see you later.